Good evening, listeners, brave navigators of the enigmatic and the concealed. Have you ever felt the pull of the unanswered, the allure of the mysteries that shroud our existence? For more than a decade, a unique comic publisher has dared to dive into these mysteries, unafraid of the secrets they might uncover. This audacious entity is Paranoid American. Welcome to the mystifying universe of the Paranoid American podcast.
Launched in the year 2012, Paranoid American has been on a mission to decipher the encrypted secrets of our world. From the unnerving enigma of MK Ultra mind control to the clandestine assemblies of secret societies. From the awe-inspiring frontiers of forbidden technology to the arcane patterns of occult symbols in our very own pop culture. They have committed to unveiling the concealed realities that lie just beneath the surface. Join us as we navigate these intricate landscapes, decoding the hidden scripts of our society and challenging the accepted perceptions of reality.
Folks, I've got a big problem on my hands. There's a company called Paranoid American making all these funny memes and comics. Now, I'm a fair guy. I believe in free speech as long as it doesn't cross the line. And if these AI-generated memes dare to make fun of me, they're crossing the line.
This is your expedition into the realm of the extraordinary, the secret, the shrouded. Come with us as we sift through the world's grand mysteries, question the standardized narratives, and brave the cryptic labyrinth of the concealed truth. So strap yourselves in, broaden your horizons, and steel yourselves for a voyage into the enigmatic heart of the Paranoid American podcast, where each story, every image, every revelation brings us one step closer to the elusive truth.
Hey, it's me. It's Paranoid American. And today I've got one of my good friends, another Florida boy. Yeah, there's going to be a trend. I do the best I can to invite other Florida people onto this show because we're something special. And what we got is someone extra special today. Joe Rupe, founder of Fringe.fm, and just all around the most magical guy I know in the South. And I will punch anyone that wants to disagree with me on that. I don't care what you got to say. Once you get south of Mason-Dixon, Joe Rupe's your guy. So, yeah. First of all, tell people who you are and where to find you, and then we'll get into even more about Joe Rupe.
Well, yeah, I'm a radio producer, podcast host. I've been doing Lighting the Void podcast since 2013, and then I started the radio station, Fringe.fm, at around 2015.
You're what, 25 now? So that was like 5 years ago?
Yeah, I'm 41 now. Yeah, so like and I've been helping people get out of body and practicing. I mean, I'm practicing an occultist pretty much, I would say, but that word occult is not really a thing anymore, so
why not?
I dig the mysteries. It's definitely a thing, but
that sounds like a hipster thing to say,
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? But
we don't call it occultism anymore. That's what
we call it reality.
Yeah,
no,
we call it simulation.
No, it's just like the occult was cool in the early 1900s when it was really secret. Like,
you mean when it was just for rich people?
When it was super, like, tattoos are cool. In the 60s and 70s, and the occult was cool in the early 1900s. You had to be a real badass rebel to be an occultist back then. So
didn't you have to be like a rich person too in order to even afford some ancient manuscript or like grimoire? Like those were coveted by royalty, so you were up against money bags.
Yeah, the royal people were always trying to get the latest occultist in their corner. All the time, the latest whatever. But yeah, man, you had to be taken seriously to get into the Golden Dawn, right? Like people had to know that you were serious about what you were doing. And it was a lot, it was like politically stupid, honestly, when you take a look at it. It's all it's all like ego stuff, you can tell. But now there's what I mean is people are getting out of body. Everybody's reading the tarot. There's so many people into this stuff now. It's not
isn't that good though? Isn't that a good thing?
I think it's great. I do. Yeah. But I want more people to stay open-minded. I don't want people to get like into the occult and be like, well, this is it, man. This is the secrets of secrets, right? Like
I don't know if that's even possible to do. I mean,
you can't say that now,
you'd have to
you know.
trick yourself into believing that because the more you
Yeah.
like you can never get the specifics because the specifics I think change too much, and that's what a lot of the occultism is. But like as above, so below leaves so much room in between, right? Like what about all
Yeah.
that stuff as it's becoming the as above, so below thing? Like it doesn't just flip between two binary states constantly. It's like this weird spectrum thing. But before either of us go on tangents, you were saying that the royalty always used to have an occultist in their corner, and I believe even up until Nancy Reagan, she had an occultist. Like they would do seances in the White House, and they might have even been making decisions based on astrologically favorable times for military or financial or political movements, right? Do you think that
Mhm.
still goes on for like every single president and every world leader, or is it just the kooky ones?
Not every world leader. I think it does go on though, for sure.
Like, do you
And
think every president in the past, like Trump and Biden and Obama and everyone before them, all the way down to Reagan, you think they've all had some kind of a cult, even if they ignored them and they just like stuck him in in the back closet? Do they have like an occultist on payroll at all times?
I'm gonna say something weird. Like I don't know, okay? But I think they should. I think because everybody's on the panel. Like if you're talking about like if they had advisors or like here's my
Yeah,
room of
I mean, Pascal's
advisors, right?
wager in reverse, right? Like, just
Yeah.
in case, even just in case the psychic can really find the missing kid, you can
Yeah.
turn on the
Yeah.
police detective squad.
I think they should because it'd be kind of like that movie, The Fifth Element, where you got Henry or Cornelius, the guy that's in there, and he's, because you have to, if you're gonna rule the world, like you're gonna be the number one power in the world, you have to leave a little bit of room for something unknown, mystical or metaphysical. I mean, he might come in and say, "Just give me what you think, yeah, go away, whatever." But he at least, I think there should be one there. That's what I think.
Have you ever been an atheist?
Negative.
Never.
Never.
Have you ever even considered it as an option?
Absolutely.
At what
Absolutely.
point did you consider atheism as an option, and what talked you out of it?
Well, the definition of God, first and foremost, a creator. So that's kind of a
Don't you
tough
start
question
playing
for me.
semantics with me here, Joe.
Yeah, I got
This isn't
to
an
though.
English
I got to.
lesson.
So God, I have trouble with that word. I still have trouble with that
All
word.
right, call him big boy.
Creator, sure. Yeah. This
Grand
place has to
architect.
have been created. Well, when I had the out of body experience, man, that changed everything. That changed like because that's when I was thinking about all that stuff. I was like, we could just die and be worm food, and this whole thing is just some big stupid experiment or whatever, because there's no evidence to show anything. I like evidence,
Well,
right?
even
I want to,
experiment almost implies, someone
yeah,
observing the experiment.
yeah. Like I'm not the kind of guy that's just going to believe you because you're telling me something. Like I want to experience it myself, right? Like I want to. That's why the occult magic and the out of body experience is the only thing that I'm rock solid on. It's the only thing I'm rock solid on. Everything else, I'm just like, maybe.
So for a brief amount of time, you might have considered atheism, but then you had an out of body experience, and that shattered any hope of you ever giving atheism more credit.
Yeah, yeah.
And
But
what was the thing that initiated the out of body experience? Were you actively trying to do it, or did it just happen to you?
yeah, so I was working a job as a tier 2 tech support agent. I just quit a sales job because I started asking questions and talking about deep things, and that's all my mind. It just wouldn't go away. And so I
You just
got
call
another
people
job.
up like, "Hey, do you need a new refrigerator? Also, do you know
Well,
what
yeah,
your soul is really like?"
Yeah, so when I got the tier 2 job, I was listening to Robert Monroe's books about the out of body. I don't know what led me to that book, honestly, but it was the coolest find I ever found, you know, for me. And so I was taking breaks at lunch. I was coming home, I mean, to work, might as well have been my second home, but I was coming to work late and stuff because I would literally go to the park, listen to these books, and then try to get out of body and stuff at the park, during lunch, like lean
Hmm,
back in my
lose your
car
wallet
and do all
doing
this.
that.
Yeah, you can, but this is Little Rock, and this is like a good side of Little Rock.
Well, you can go
But
Arkansas in that case.
but yeah, what was the question again? So that changed things for me
Yeah,
when
so
it started
you
to
were
happen.
actively trying to do an out of body experience by practicing it, and what
Yeah,
it finally hit one time, and that convinced
yeah.
you that there was something else?
Yeah, see, here's the thing. Like, there's people believe the out of body experience, the one that I'm talking about, is not what some people are calling the astral travel or what they think is astral travel or whatever. It's like a near death experience, you know. So you literally peel yourself out of your body. You're in a realm where you're more aware of everything. Your emotions can trigger anything. Your fears can become instantly manifested, and yet things feel way more real than they do here. It's hard to explain. There's this weird vibration of this is like the real thing, But it's not like you're leaving the matrix because it also feels like a copy. So at that point, when I realized that I got way more questions now. Uh, when consciousness became real outside of my body, then I started getting into sacred geometry and looking at the exactism of everything that's in creation, right?
How old
Fr-
is this, by the way, when you have this first OBE?
How old was I?
Yeah.
Um, I want to say it was it was 2012. Yeah, 2012, 2013, 2012,
Okay, so you're in
2013.
your 20s at this point?
So I was like 30. Yeah, I was like 30 years old.
Okay.
Uh, I was raised Christian and Christianity, like Southern Baptist. So I never denied God until I started getting older and smarter, you know. So I started thinking,
Getting
right, and then
hipster again.
yeah, and then I was like, none of this makes sense. I mean, nothing makes sense. There's all these contradictions. Nothing makes sense. There's no proof of any of this. It's just a bunch of dudes saying that God's talking to them, and everybody killing each other over it. It's stupid, you know. So that's kind of when I started leaning towards the mystical route, and I would go to the libraries and just kind of work, not the libraries. There's a bookstore called Hastings. I don't know if you're familiar with it,
No,
but it's a
we just have
book.
Barnes& and Noble. That was it.
Well, it's one of those old stores where you could actually rent videos, but they had a bunch of like a comic book section, and it was a cool store. But back in the back, they had books on one side of the store, and I would go back there to where uh, it was called the metaphysical section, and that just opened up the world. I just started reading those books, man. I was like, a lot of this stuff makes more sense to my mind than what I've been reading, you know.
Yeah, do you remember the first one that you were like, "Wow, this is a big deal now"?
The first book that I read, honestly, wasn't anything crazy. It was a book called Conversations with God by Neil Donald Walsh. And the first 3 or 4 chapters kind of just opened the doors. As soon as I started going down that road, I wasn't stopping. And then I started getting into Edgar Casey. And then I started getting into like David Icke stuff,
Wait,
because
okay. There's a
that's
big
a big jump, right?
there's a big
Yeah.
jump between those two, man.
So my brain works weird, right? So once you start showing me things that might be true, then all these other doors start opening up for me, and I need to check. I'm like, wait, if this is real, then what about this? That's how I made the jump to David Icke. And then once he started talking about reptilians and stuff, I started backing out a little bit.
What do you mean once he started? That's like his opening elevator.
in my world, right? Like when I first started reading it, I'm like, this dude's talking about reptilians, like I'm done. I'm done. Not that I don't think there could be reptilians. I don't know. I mean, Juan seems to believe they're below the DMV,
We'll get into that. Don't worry, we'll get into that later.
But anyways, I jumped around a lot, is what I'm saying.
Well, no, okay. So, but at this point, you have an OBE. It convinces you that atheism is not everything that you think is out there, and now you've got like this experience where you were in like another realm that felt just as real, but also just as fake. So, I got the first question I have though. Do you think that's the same experience as like psychedelics? Would that replicate what you're talking about, or is that a completely different thing?
It's totally.
How would you are you qualified to differentiate the two?
I would say that I am. I've tripped acid quite a few times. I've done DMT. I've done mushrooms. Yeah.
So how would you really describe the difference between a psychedelic out of body experience versus this? I'm assuming it was a sober OBE.
Yes, it was a sober OBE. I wouldn't have it any other way. So, like a psychedelic experience is.
You ever done salvia, Joe?
I'm afraid of it, dude. I'm just afraid
was that
of
no?
it. Yeah, that's a no.
Oh, right. Dude, you're in Florida. I'm in Florida. Well,
I've done DMT, but like I thought that was the biggest thing you can do is DMT.
Oh no, my friend.
I've watched some people do salvia and they're literally like drilling on themselves. I'm like, that don't look fun to me, man. I don't want to
go on too much of a tangent, but the second you even see someone like on video or doing it in front of another person, they're already doing it the wrong way. The best way to do it is basically by yourself in a dark room, the fan's off, the lights are off, like no movement. Like you should just do it and immediately lie back in a dark bed in a dark room and someone closes the door and puts a towel under it to block, like literally block all the light out, and then just listen for crashes or like someone getting hurt and then intervene. But otherwise, just let it ride out in absolute isolation. I don't know if I'd recommend like a salt room or like a full blown altered states isolation tank. But the second that you're doing it in front of another person or have an audience or you've got lights or sounds, every single external stimuli that gets triggered while you're on salvia just pulls you a little bit more and more out of that realm. And it's not a good experience if you're constantly getting pulled out of it from all this shit going around you. But if you do it to where like there's no other external stimulus, and I mean really like a fan, like just feeling air hit your skin will remind you like, oh, I have a physical body and I'm in this physical realm. And you don't want any of those reminders on salvia. That's where people go wrong. Is because they do it and then they bombard themselves with things that are keeping them in this realm and not allowing it to go into the net. Just trust me on this. I know a lot of people that have done a lot in Minecraft. I'll just say that.
I don't like. Well, see, here's the thing.
I'm pushing it. Make no mistakes. I'm pushing this on you right now. This is peer pressure.
Yeah, I know you are. I know it's okay, but it's not my thing.
People don't push salvia enough, bro. Everyone's too afraid of it. I'm telling you, it can be your friend. Anyways,
peer pressure.
We're gonna leave salvia out of this. I'm just gonna assume everything that you described that's different between a sober OBE and a psychedelic OBE doesn't apply to salvia. And
I don't.
Let me be the expert on that version of it.
I think you need to have, because I've had an out of body experience on DMT and it's nothing like the same. Like all right. So DMT made me feel like I was actually dying at first, right? But the OBE experience, there's still a magnetic kind of weird pull to your body. No matter where you are, you can feel that kind of pull back to your body.
Do you think that's the silver cord?
I think when people refer to the silver cord, I think that's what they're talking to. It's not like an actual cord or whatever, but it also depends on different states of consciousness too. So with a conscious OBE, you have an intention, you can go and do this intention, whatever. There may be some distortions you have to figure out. A lot of times with psychedelics, you're not you're not in the driver's seat. You're just not. That's the only difference. And there can be more illusory distortions.
Even with DMT, because my understanding DMT gives you the most control out of the options out there. Almost everything else is such a disassociative that you're kind of you're not even in the back seat. You're like, you're flying behind on like a paraglider, watching the rest of the world.
Yeah,
But
with
DMT
DMT, I
allows
felt
you to like laser focus in on fractals and pull it up and look bigger, and it doesn't just kind of like float away and dissipate like on other ones.
I didn't do DMT. I didn't take that third hit, so I didn't fully get out. You know what I mean? So I couldn't, because when I got to that second one, they're like, hit it again, and it's like tire rubber, and I was already kind of like, it felt like I was slipping already, like my body's like slipping, right? And they're like, hurry, hit it again. And I just couldn't.
Well,
I could barely
dude,
even hold
that's
in the
another
smoke,
thing
man.
with salvia is a lot of people, and I know this, it's so foreign, like the tiny niche of people that even know what the hell I'm talking about is so minuscule, but there's a difference between taking salvia and not breaking through, and then there's like a breakthrough, and it's a world of difference. And I know how weird that sounds, but it's the only thing that I know that truly has this like cliff that you can get up to the edge of it, and you think that was the experience. You're like, oh wow, I don't ever want to do that again. That was crazy. But then there's like the part where you jump off the cliff and you are in outer space, and your
Yeah, you're
body is
done.
now
You're
a cereal
gone.
box,
Yeah.
and you don't even realize that you're a person or that the world exists or that rules or air exist. Like once you get into that realm, it's a completely different experience. And I think that that's probably similar maybe on DMT too, where like you can get to the edge of it, but if you don't do that third hit, it's almost like you walked all the way up to the door and opened it, and then you were just like, all right, maybe next time.
And that happens too with the conscious OBE experience. Like if you get to the vibratory state in your body will feel numb, and then it'll start humming or vibrating. And then
Really?
and then if you can't peel yourself out of your body, right? You'll see things like you could see shadow figures, you could see entities for a little bit, you could see weird stuff happen for a little bit, but
It's like
you don't
Freddy
really.
Krueger, like being able to bring him back into our world.
Well, yeah, it's not that. I mean, it's really strange, dude. There's no other word for this than strange. When I hear, like, there's this guy on YouTube talking about, well, I got out of body and I went to the halls of Amenti and I did all this other stuff. Like, bullshit, man. Like, there's nobody. I'm just saying, man. Like, unless you're born like Jesus or something with that level of consciousness, I don't think you're doing these things. Because
What if he was like, I had an OBE, I went and I cleaned out the trunk of my 96 Corolla, I found like some old fries in there.
I would believe him.
Yeah.
I would believe that. Right. Or somebody said I had an OBE and I pinched my girlfriend on the butt and it woke her up. I was out of my body in my ghost body and I pinched her on the butt.
You believe that more than like I went to the Louvre or I went and I had lunch with Socrates or
right. Yeah. Like not saying people can't do that, but to get this type of thing that I'm talking about is not like, oh, I'm going to meditate and now my consciousness is somewhere else, right? Like or remote viewing or lucid dreaming. This is an etheric, energetic form in your body that releases. And
so how is that different from remote viewing? Because I guess I always assumed an out-of-body experience and remote viewing were close enough to basically be the same thing.
Well, remote viewing, I can close my eyes and I'm still here. My etheric body's here, and I can just see things in other places.
But if you were good, and this isn't like argumentative, I'm like asking questions legitimately here. But if you're good at out-of-body experience, wouldn't you do that in order to like astral project? Like if you were sitting there and just trying to envision where something's at by remote viewing, but you also knew how to actually astral project yourself to that place, wouldn't you just do the latter?
I think that would be awesome if someone can do that. I would do that. Actually, there are people that claim they can do that.
Yeah, there's like 11, right? From Stranger Things.
Yeah, and they have different levels in the Monroe Institute. They call them focus 10, focus 12. Like these people know what these levels feel like. They can't explain them in words. So they call them, they explain them in levels.
What's the
You
highest
know?
level? Do you know?
Oh man, I think it's like 20, focus 20, focus 30, maybe.
I think I'm
But
like a focus 40, but that's cool. Whatever.
focus 10 is like the OBE, like when you peel yourself out and you're standing in your, room watching yourself sleep. That's like focus 10. You go outside, you fly around, maybe you pinch somebody, and there may be some things that are distorted, right? But you're actually, I believe this, you're actually consciously there in the sense of the word of presence, not geometry, not physical space, but present. It's something different, right? Like it's physical space is just dense. But I also wonder, since there's a collective, or is it just a copy too? I've wondered that. Like, am I peeling myself out and I actually think I'm in the same room, or am I looking at a copy? But if it's just a copy, then how can I pinch people? How can I knock on things? It's really strange, man.
What? And if you don't even know if you're a copy, imagine if that's
Exactly.
a possibility. How the hell do you know if anyone else is a copy? If you yourself
Exactly.
don't even know, yeah, man. Just a
So
brain
it
in the
gets,
bat theory.
yeah, dude. So it gets this stuff lead. This is kind of why I got into magic and the esoteric too, because I'm like, there has to be a system, even if it's not like, even if it's like the flux capacitor. I need a tool set or something to travel. I need something to keep me guided to where I'm going. I need a
That
map.
might be a bad example because that one's obviously fake.
Yeah, right. So, but the Kabbalistic tree that's been through like the Etzachayim, that glyph that's been here since Egypt, is relatively a good map. You can use it and tell yourself, I was
Does
in
the
this
flux
realm or that realm.
capacitor have a link to an ancient Egypt hieroglyphic?
I think the tree of life is the flux capacitor for conscious traveling. That's what I think it is. But it's just a tool. It doesn't mean that there isn't something way cooler or more advanced, or that's nothing. It could be, but it works, right? Because if you listen to Robert Monroe's tapes and stuff, this guy was all over the place, and he's intelligent, and he got out of body more than anybody I know. And it was still, this place is so illusory. It's insane. He couldn't all he was trying to do was find parallels, and he couldn't, because everybody's brains are different, things are filtered different, but the one parallels that he would find would be people can get out of body, they can get to focus 10, they can see themselves sleeping, they can travel to places together, they can even see the same things. There was enough experimentation to know that was real, so yeah, magic kind of showed me that this astral realm, or astral light that Eliphas Levi is talking about, is a name they gave it, where it's like the blueprint space before things come into physical existence. It's like the 3D printer.
I already know a few questions that I'm going to ask about you, and a little later, like 15 minutes from now or something.
All right, hold on just 1 second. Can you pause it?
Yeah.
1 second. Hello?
All right, we're back. We're
You're recording
again.
this?
Joe got pulled away because he got hit in traffic because of Florida. It's part of the Florida lifestyle. You get hit in traffic every once in a while. So he got pulled away. And what were we talking about? I don't know how much you want to disclose.
So I was talking to a buddy of mine. Right?
Okay, yeah.
That's just a buddy of mine.
We'll leave it there.
And I asked him about salvia. I said, "You ever tried salvia?" And he's like, "Is that what they called Tuji in prison?" I said, "I don't know."
And I don't think it is.
He goes, "Man, I've smoked that stuff before and I couldn't breathe." Like someone told him it was weed, but it wasn't weed.
And I think that might have been K2 or
like some
there was one in particular that a friend of mine might have done before there was medical options, called Bayou Blaster, and it has a freaking alligator chewing on sugarcane or something with like overalls, and has like a beat up old hat. Like it's a Bayou redneck
Bayou
alligator, but it's
Blaster.
called Bayou Blaster. And
That's
yeah, and
different.
that would make you stop breathing, or it would make people's hearts almost like come out of their chest.
That's different. Now that's different than this Delta stuff, right? Isn't it?
The what?
Like Delta 9, because
Yeah, that's
I've
different.
tried to.
No, so we're
Yeah,
talking about research chemicals or RCs, and usually these are all synthetic cannabis or like slight variations of them, and they're called like they're just chemicals. They're called like one's like JW410 or something. I'm making that number up, but another one's like
sure.
HB209. And what you can do is just order them in bulk from China, Alibaba or whatever, and they just spray them, bro. They'll just line up whatever random incense or potpourri or whatever the hell you got that you want to call Bayou Blaster, and they just spray it down with the same kind of thing that you would spray your house around for ants or whatever, right? So and then as the laws make one of them illegal, someone will go and they'll just like add a little carbon molecule here and then re-release it all over again. So now they're like constantly chasing the analogs for these research chemicals. But long-winded version of like, I think whatever the your friend was talking about that said it like made him breathe funny or whatever and freaked him out. There's a very high likelihood, if this is in Florida, there's a 99% likelihood that it was just Bayou Blaster by some other name.
I don't. So we were before I had to run, right? Like I don't have a car, so I've got people doing all kinds of stuff for me right now, trying to help because of the crash and stuff. But before, what we were talking about before the break, I had to do that was the out of body experience, right? And so maybe the reason why I like the out of body experience is because I'm controlling what's going on. It's up to me to get there. Does that make sense? So it's up to me if I get out of body or not, and what happens, versus like when I take chemicals into my body, which I've done before. I'm on a ride, and there's certain rides I don't want to be on because you can't get off the ride. It's not like you just be like, nope, I don't want to do this no more, And so there's something inside me that fights that a lot. And
that's you also have to be able to give into that.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's not good for psychedelics. Like if you're going to fight the ride,
Right.
it's not good. Even for certain kinds of weed. You can ask, like when I went and did the out of body talk at Mount Shasta, like Greg from the Higher Side Chats and everybody was there. They're all like smoking up these triple dipped, whatever joints. I can't handle this stuff,
It's got like the resin spiraled around the outside and
dude,
dipped in keef, and like it's got like
crazy.
purple moon rocks, and yeah.
And like as soon as my body goes on this ride, I'm like, oh man, what did I do? So my brain likes to be, it's not control. I like to be aware. Maybe it is control. I don't want to lie to you. Maybe it is. Like I don't want to.
It's not a bad thing though.
I don't want to be on some ride I have no control over. DMT was cool, right? I actually started laughing as I was slipping away, where I thought I was going to be scared, but I just started giggling like crazy because I just couldn't do nothing. I literally couldn't do anything. I have a video.
Also a side effect of salvia. A lot of people end up just giggling themselves into like a sweaty mess.
Yeah, I was with my buddy. He owns a tattoo shop in New York. This is when I lived in upstate New York, and we were all at my pad doing it.
Where at?
Just a little south of Rochester is where I lived.
I grew up in Oneonta, which was a little bit south of Cooperstown, I believe.
And I only stayed there for a couple of years, when I was doing this traveling thing. But anyways, I just leaned back on that second after that big second hit, and I just started saying, bro, like laughing. That's all I could say because I couldn't explain to him what was happening to me,
But they're probably like, we know.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. He's like, no, dude, it's just go with it, right? And it's like I felt like I'm about to leave for real, And I can see what you're talking about with the dark room stuff because the dark rooms help in meditation too. There is an actual exercise you can do in meditations where you shut off all the lights, you shut off any sensory stuff. It's better to meditate in a dark room too. So So I think that's better for conscious exploration all the way around. But if
Or
everything is
something
set and
like
setting with
mushrooms, for
psychedelics,
example, or even LSD. I don't know if that would be the same advice, like go lock yourself in a dark room. It might be an interesting
no,
experience, but there's definitely like go out in nature and go and see like grass and the wind blowing through, leaves and stuff. That I think will be way more fascinating than a dark room on certain experiences.
yeah. See, I'm all. I have this philosophy called void walking, and it's stupid, but it's a thing that I didn't know. I thought I made it up, but apparently there's other people that call themselves void walkers that are either playing one video games or they're into music. I didn't know that, but
I don't know that.
to
It
me,
sounds like a Dungeons and Dragons thing.
yeah. But to me, it's about uh, you don't set boundaries for yourself philosophically, religiously, whatever. But if you want to know something for real, if it's egging you enough and you want to know the truth about it, then do it. I mean, that's scary, right? Like that's when I tell people that and they ask me all these questions about magic, I'm like, why don't you just go do it? Right? Like go read Chaos Protocols by Gordon White. You don't have to get into the whole Golden Dawn thing. That's a whole transformational spiritual journey there. But if you want to see how magic works, just pick up a chaos magic book and go do it. Just like Grant Morrison said when he was at the thing, just shut up and go do it and we can change the world. That's what he said to everybody, you know? But
What if the thing that I want to do is or someone, not me, someone comes up to you and they're like, I want to summon Moloch as my like companion demon spirit.
okay, well, like
And
if you
that might sound flippant, but I guarantee you there's a
no,
subreddit called
no.
Demonology that you can go on right now, and it's just people that are summoning like the highest demons in the hierarchy to help them get over a boy or get me an A on the math test.
Okay, so I get what you're saying, right? People need to be aware of how their psyches affect them, right? Like if you've done psychedelics, you know how powerful your
I haven't, but a
unconscious
lot of
is.
friends that I know have.
You know how powerful your unconscious is, though, right? Like the human unconscious is a powerful thing. So when I mean just go do it, you can't be a pussy, dude. I don't mean to. You can't. You're gonna have to realize that if you're going to ride the rides, you got to ride the rides, right? Like, and this is different than I'm on the ride and I can't get off. If you summon something, you better know everything that you're doing. See, that's why there was a process to this
Is that
back in the day.
impossible? That seems impossible to know everything that you're about to do.
It's not there is a training ground for magic. It is in the Golden Dawn,
But
right?
wouldn't that be
So
setting up like the rules and boundaries?
in a sense, yeah. And but when you do this stuff, you have to tell yourself this is only a system. That's what void walking is, just like the OBE thing. This is only a system. This is only a system that people worked that I would like to explore consciously to see what it's about.
So what's
It doesn't
your
mean my system that I'm working with right now is strictly the Golden Dawn magical system, and a mix of that and the Monroe and Buellman out of body stuff. So I'm not just doing one thing, but what I'm trying to do, what I'm void walking and doing right now is, and I'm seeing if there's a parallel between these worlds that I can work with, right? Like one seems extremely scientific and chaotic, and they're trying to get answers. The other one seems kind of wackadoodle eccentric, but they have a structured system of conscious exploration. Now, these people are having the same experiences as parallel experiences as they're exploring consciousness. One is not so controlled where the other one is a little bit, right? So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, as a void walker, in my mind, what would happen if Robert Monroe and Israel Regardie met? What would they do? What experiments would they do? Like Israel Regardie, the guy that released all the Golden Dawn material, right?
Okay. When was
What would
that?
they do?
Was that like 1800s?
That was like 1910, something like that. Like when he broke his vows and started releasing all the books and everything. So, what
Is this
would
how
they
you
do?
know about Golden Dawn, or did you actually join Golden Dawn?
Both. Yeah, I mean, both. Just
Which
to be honest with
started?
you.
Did you pirate it first and then you bought the licensed copy, or what?
Well, now, what I did was I was painting homes. Now, this at the time I was into Freemasonry, right? And you'll find that
Into it, or you were a Freemason?
Well, I wasn't when I first got into magic. I wasn't a master mason, you know.
Okay, well,
So
you were
the
entered
fellowcraft, I
apprentice,
was,
fellowcraft.
yeah, I wasn't a master mason. Yeah, I was working on it, and I was painting houses, and I was struggling. Dude, I was struggling in my life in ways that were different than the struggles in my life now. You know, and
You
I
had to get
ran
that
across.
master mason, then you become a millionaire instantly.
Yeah, that's what everybody thinks, right? So I love your sarcasm, by the way, because people think you're serious right now. Some people are going to think you're serious.
Maybe I am.
But maybe you are. But anyways, so I started when someone convinces me of something, if it makes sense to my brain, I'll try it. Right. So Frater Xavier was talking about he had this playlist called the Mystery Schools. I got into Freemasonry because I was into the mysteries. Not, it was about being a better man. I wanted to change my life, but it was because I was into the mysteries and I wasn't getting that fulfillment there the way I wanted. So I'm painting houses, listening to Frater Xavier's Mystery Schools when his YouTube channel first came out. And everything he said started making a lot of sense to me. And when that happens, I'm going to go check it out and see. So one of the first experiments I did was sigil magic, right? Just to see if there's something to it. It's a safe experiment. It's not going to kill me, And sure enough, things were, manifesting exactly as they were written down in the sigils.
Doing sigil magic, is that like a intimate thing that you like? Could we do a sigil magic over a podcast and it have the same effect as if you didn't?
You can, but I think, and this is what he did. So he showed a sigil to everybody that he made. And you can go back into his playlist and watch this. So he showed a sigil to everybody that he made. Now, if I tell you what you find, it probably won't happen to you. But if you want to test this, go back and find in his mystery school. I don't know if it's still there. I hope it is. But he pops it up on the screen and he says, just look at it, observe it, whatever. And then tell me something odd, now the ordinary that you see. Right. Here's where the shit gets weird. Everybody reported back to him personally. They didn't just start, commenting. He made it an experiment to prove this to everybody. Everybody started commenting back to him. I found an orange ball. It was in my yard, or it was in my house, or it was on the sidewalk. And the reason
in real life they did this?
Yeah. And mine, I was painting the house, and I picked up the phone. I looked at it. The next day I went to the house. I was in the backyard cleaning out buckets and rollers and stuff. And there's an orange basketball just right there. And I didn't think anything of it. But all he said was report anything that's unusual, out of the ordinary. That's all he said. And I took the orange basketball and I went to the neighbors. I said, is this your ball? Is this y'all's? But nobody claimed this basketball, dude. I'm like, okay, well, this basketball just came out of nowhere. Now, I'm not saying that it didn't get there rationally. But what I'm saying is that thousands of people reported a strange just orange ball showing up before he told everybody what it was, right? And he proved it too, what it was. And when he did that, I thought, I don't trust everything, right? But I'm like, okay, I want to experiment with this stuff. So I experimented with sigil magic personally, which is way more powerful. If you only have your conscious involved, to me, it's more powerful. Now, there's all kinds of tricks and methods to do this.
Before we get too far along, though, because I don't want to cut you off, but the orange ball thing, is this like a ring kind of sigil? Like if you watch it and 7 days later you see an orange ball?
No, it was a weird sigil. There was nothing in it that represented orange or ball
right,
or
but
anything.
I mean, like if I went and watched it right now, does that imply that I would in the near future end up seeing an orange ball?
Maybe. That's a void walking experiment. Go figure it out for yourself. But I feel because I told you that it kind of messes up the thing.
Like you told me the end of the book, so now I see it coming.
Yeah, so your consciousness is going to be looking for the orange ball, right? The way he did it is all he wanted our consciousness to focus on was something that just seems weird or out of the ordinary. And the cool part about it was he said, here's the trick with magic. The more you desire it and want it, the harder it's going to be to manifest. So when you charge whatever you're trying to manifest and you let it go, really let it go, like you don't give a shit, it shows up. So this is why I did the orange ball, because no one gives a shit about an orange ball, right? Now, if I would have tried to do a sigil for like $1,000 on the sidewalk for everybody, like it would have been way harder to manifest because our desires get involved. And all this creation thing does is just mirror what we're saying. Like, I want money. And then creation's like, okay, you want money. We're going to leave you wanting money. Well, I have money. Okay, you have money. Are you living like you have money? Then it starts getting weird. You see what I mean? So, like, it's just a mirror game between us and spirit all the time. And like that, even when you do tarot, it's a mirror. People want to see the future. Show me what to do, and but the tarot is just mirroring exactly what you're giving it.
Do you have a
It's just-
specific tarot?
I use the Rider-Waite tarot
Yeah,
for.
everyone seems to just go right to the Rider-Waite.
I use the Rider-Waite tarot for transformative stuff. Okay, but I use Crowley's deck if people. If people want a reading from me, because there's something about that deck egregorically, in my opinion, it's built for divination, right? It's definitely a transformative deck and a meditative deck, but for me personally, I feel like it works better for divination.
What do you think about like if someone had like a Simpsons deck or like a Barbie tarot deck? Is it just as valid as a Rider-Waite deck? Let me preface that with that, like, if you see the Fool card, it would have all the elements, it would have the dog nipping, it would still be it, but it would be Ken, right? Or it would be Barbie.
As long as it's not misleading, like, does it have the Kabbalistic and astrological and elemental correspondences in it? If it has those three, Kabbalistic, astrological, and elemental correspondences in it, I think it's fine.
Are those the only three criteria for making sure tarot is like, up to snuff?
That, I mean, that's, well,
like, could you do just like a stick figure? Could you have like an 8-year-old do stick figure versions of every tarot card as long as it had the elements in the right spots?
Yeah, I think you could. I mean, sure, because the 22 arcana represent the paths on the tree of life. That's what they represent. Now I'm saying from the Golden Dawn on, when the Rider-Waite came out, this is where they made this stuff with. They were told to make their own decks. The 22 arcana had to have these energies in them. The 1 through 10 cards had to correspond with the 10 Sephiroth, and the court cards had to correspond with the 5 parts of the soul and certain parts of the tree, right? So, as long as it has that in it, that's your basic stuff, right? So now you got to use color and art and creativity to represent those energies. Back then, like in the Rider-Waite, they purposefully hid stuff, where Crowley's deck, didn't.
Yeah, it really emphasizes those things.
Yeah, all of those things. So like the different tree systems too, because it gets kind of complicated because you have a tree in each element, right? The elements is a whole school in itself, okay? Because there's different stages to the elements, but there's certain trees in the elements. And he would put all of those colors or whatever in these cards, right? So if you had I don't know if you had like, say, the King of Wands, which was Fire of Fire, right? Which is basically the element of fire in the world of Atziluth. Is it Atziluth or Asaya? I'm getting them confused at the moment.
You're going to be the expert on this.
Atziluth, right? So Fire of Fire, he would put all of the tree colors in it, all the symbols in it, and even write on the cards, he would have a glyph for the astrological correspondences. The only thing that he didn't write in there was where it was on the tree, but there are tarot decks out now that even have little glyphs that show you where it's on the tree. I have a tarot course that I offer that I have glyphs up on the side that show you where these cards represent on the tree, right? And Freemasonry and the Scottish rites, whether you're doing York rite or Scottish rite, it's all the same. The 1 through 10s, the Sephiroth, the 32 paths, or the first 22, and the 10 Sephiroth, it's all goes back to that, right? It all goes
connected,
back
man.
It's all connected, yeah. So, and that doesn't mean that I have to. What I mean by void walking is that doesn't mean I have to take it in as a personal belief system, but because it has so much time and focus and energy and people doing this stuff, that means it works. It's powerful. It works in the astral realm. It works all over because we created it. Because I think we're pretty much creating more than we think we are. I think the creator created this womb we call Earth, and we're creating the rest. All of it.
What percentage of a chance do you think that you might end up in hell for believing this and playing with tarot cards and dabbling in magic? In like a Christian,
0.5.
0.5%
there's a
still
small
seems like you're gambling, bro.
because I always leave a little bit like just for I could totally be wrong. Maybe there is a
why. So why are you willing to risk that 0.5%? Is it just too fat? Like, what happens if you get there and you show up to the gate and they're like, "Hold on a second, there, Joe." They're like, "Says here that you used the Ouija board when you were 13." Sorry, bud.
I'd be like, you know what? It says here that you murdered women and children and all this stuff. Is this real? Like, so you can't fault me for wondering about you too. I thought we were buddies, and you kept hidden the whole time. That's not very fair, is it?
I can't hear you over the hellfire. Sorry,
yeah, dude. I can't hear you over the screaming bodies. Like, no, I it's a 0 chance. I put 0.5 because there are literally, because of my upbringing, there are unconscious things that still exist there. Right?
Do you think that you get? Do you think there's even a possibility that you or anyone gets punished after you die or rewarded after you die, or do you think all the punishment and reward happens while we're here and alive and conscious?
I think a lot of karma gets served here, knowingly or unknowingly, but also after we die, I do believe there's things that we have to deal with energetically and karmically. There are people, I know this is going to sound completely wackadoo, but there are people, quote people, that are stuck between worlds for their own bullshit. They're just stuck. They're not moving on
right now.
Yeah, they're not moving on to, wherever the afterlife is. They're not moving on to recycle. They haven't totally left the earth. They're still stuck there.
Is this like grandma watching porn and being disappointed?
God, I hope not, dude. Because I hope not. Oh,
do you, like, would you, if you died, would you hang around to watch your grandkids?
Hell no.
No,
not
porn.
Even.
Well, for anything. Let's just say you're going to go and check in on him. Oh, I want to go and see him. He was so peaceful when he used to sleep, and I'm sure he's asleep by now. It's 11 o'clock, and she walks in and she sees Joe scrolling furiously.
Yeah, like where's the? Yeah, no, I ain't gonna say what my fetish is. Yeah, but porn, that it's funny you mention that because that's the thing that keeps people stuck between worlds. What I mean is, so I'll give you an example. I've talked about this on a podcast before. I'm different, dude. Like, I know you're gonna think I'm crazy, but if I'm attracted to one person that I'm a sap. Like, there is nobody else. Like, if I'm gonna do that kind of stuff, I'm thinking about that person, right?
Yeah,
that's
a predator.
That's who I am.
That's the name for that now.
A what? A predator?
Predator, yeah.
I'm not a predator. I couldn't be a hunter, but no.
Well, we're starting with that as the mold because that's what you described.
So I don't mean like they don't know and we're not together.
Rough Ashler, my friend.
I don't mean like we're not together. I'm not some weird stalker, right? But I get what you're saying. That's funny.
We can keep molding it. It's fine.
No. But in the astral realm, so Robert Monroe ran into a guy in between worlds, stark naked. The dude was naked. His etheric body was still naked. And you can read about this in his book or audio book. He's like, man, what the hell are you doing? And he's literally trying to jump on top of this woman. And he tells him in the book, these are the literal like words. He's like, I've been trying to get this piece of ass for the last 10 or 15 years. And I'm not leaving this place until I get it. He had an obsession with this person. And his the energy of that obsession kept him stuck in this world. So you can imagine, hell is one thing, getting your body ripped apart is another thing, but like being stuck between worlds, trying to get with a girl that you're never going to get with, and you're just there forever and ever. You're watching her with some other dudes. Like, is that
So
not kind of a
OnlyFans.
hell?
You're just
Yeah,
describing OnlyFans right
I mean,
now.
is that not kind of a hell? So the guy created his own hell. We do this with our addictions. Like, what I'm personally afraid of is I'm going to take my addiction to sugar and nicotine, and I have a third one, sugar, nicotine, and I'm going to take those things into that realm, and I'm going to be stuck there, right? Or I'm going to have this psychological obsession that I haven't worked out through my work and my transformation that's going to be there when I get there.
Could I put another one? Just plant a scary seed, maybe.
Yeah,
But
dude.
whatever.
Well, I mean, it could be
that,
real.
Well, whatever it is that holds you back from like not wanting to take that third hit, right, of DMT, that might also be a version of
thing.
attachment to the material realm in the same way that addiction, like being addicted to DMT, would also be something that would trap you in a material realm, because then you're using that as an experience, like the experience and the transition and the juxtaposition of being in a normal world and then being in like a not normal world. Some people start to look forward to that transition and the difference between the two, as opposed to just like being detached from one. But
that's 100% correct, man. Like, what you're thinking about is based on everything that I've studied and experienced is a real thing, though. Like, even if it's food, do you have an addiction to food of any kind? Because I do.
Reese's, anything Reese's, bro. You could do like Reese's covered, owl shit, and
Yeah.
I'd probably try it.
Yeah, right. So there it may be a small thing, but as you transfer through, something might say, I'm never going to taste a Reese's again. There might be a part of your energy that doesn't want to know the balance of the cycle. Your soul knows what it's supposed to do, but there's an energetic part of you that has to get in line with that, or it's going to get stuck. And that happens in this world too. It manifests physically.
I don't remember what the hell the book was, but I think it was Rosicrucian Roots. But that scared the hell out of me, as it actually mentioned that it's addictions that it doesn't turn you into a ghost, but what the way that they described it is that, let's say you were an alcoholic your entire life, and then when you die, your soul, or whatever the hell you want to call it, right? Like this etheric body. I'm just going to call it a soul because it's way easier.
Yeah.
So your soul sticks around and it attaches itself to another drunk, and now he's drinking for two, right? He's like a pregnant drunk, so he's drinking for himself, and now you're also like attached to him and like, yeah, have some more, because you get the residuals from it.
Yeah.
But you're now only getting the secondhand experience,
Bro.
so you kind of like force them to do more than they normally would. And that, to me, that's scary, because two people are affected by that, right? Like
There was somebody talking about that not too long ago, man. And I don't know if it was you or something. It was in a book or something where people were going, these astral entities were going to a bar. These people stuck between realms.
It might have been an occult book club with Juan, because I think we covered that in.
Yeah, dude. And that's a real thing.
I think Rosicrucian Cosmo Conception. I think that's the name of it.
And they're literally like invading these people as they're drunk, so that they can get that energetic feeling of of being drunk again. That's right. All right, I'll give you another one that I know I haven't talked to you about, but this is freaking wild, and you'd probably see this in a weird comic book. If you want to think about a hell, so Monroe's astral traveling. You can read this in his first book. Okay, he's traveling, and he runs into this just glob of winded human bodies. And he's like, man, what the heck is that? It looks like it's nasty. And the closer he gets to it, all it is people addicted. It's everybody that has a sexual addictions in this ball of just like nasty, fluid, naked.
You ever seen the movie Society?
Yeah, that's probably what it looked like, dude.
Yeah.
And he said this thing was so massive that he knew that it was affecting the world, right? And dude, when we turn on the TV, they have shows like Naked Attraction and everything's about sex. And when I'm on Instagram, girls are making their booty clap, and there's nothing, there's no soul, there's no love, there's no sacredness. There's something going on.
I've seen some soulful booty claps.
Yeah, but you know what I mean, dude. Soulful booty claps. That's funny. But I think that's a whole another show. But sexual energy is one of the biggest secrets to magic, because magicians, we believe that energy created the cosmos, not the orgasm between man and woman. All that is a microcosmic that's a microcosm example of how we get to experience heaven for a moment, just for a moment, with another person that we love. But it represents on a small scale these two energies, this alpha and omega, that when it comes together, it creates, right? And we can see this all throughout nature. We can see it all throughout the universe, how this is created. And this is what Crowley focused on more than the Golden Dawn did, per se. You didn't even really get into those things in the Golden Dawn until later. And usually by that time, you had a life partner you were doing alchemy with, right? You weren't like, well, you guys are too restrictive, I can have 30 concubines and whatever. Like, there's a sacred thing that was supposed to, it's way more powerful than we think. And this is why it's so manipulated on the earth. This is one of the biggest things that keeps us trapped consciously. And one of the biggest conspiracies, if you want to get into conspiracies,
we don't talk about conspiracies on the show.
I don't care. I think it is, you know what I mean? Like, it is though. That's what's keeping people.
We're going off course, everyone. I know no one here came to hear about conspiracies, but Joe's taking us way off the
paranoid American. Okay. It's not. It's real. It's real though. Your energy is a very sacred thing, man. Like, it's powerful, dude. Just the energy that you have in yourself is powerful. The masculine and feminine energy inside you is more powerful than you will ever understand. And especially between two people. And then now, you look at the state the world's in. If there's anything that's been manipulated, it's that.
I got a controversial, I don't know, maybe opinion, maybe just ignorant. Maybe I think it's controversial, but it's really just ignorant. And man, it's to state the simplified version of this just makes it sound ignorant. So I'll just give you that version anyways.
Okay.
But it feels like money or currency, like money, Bitcoin, US dollars, whatever, Cash App, Venmo, links below. But like all of these things, like you can channel the energy that you've got in yourself that you're talking about, right? Let's like for some people, they might have like a sexual energy. You can convert that directly into money, like into Bitcoin. And then you can take that energy that you took out of your body as Bitcoin and send it over to Joe and pay for advertisements. And then you use your energy and the literal energy of, the broadcasting equipment, everything, to then disperse that into like a region or whatever. And like, to me, it's all the same energy. Like by the time that someone hears
dude, you got
talking,
it, man. Yeah.
Like they might have heard like my orgasm, right? Like if I'm a nofap and I saved it all up and then like I sent that all out, then it's the exact same energy, I guess.
It's the same, dude. That's it, man. It's everything.
So can I pay you? This is what is
you can't pay me in orgasms.
Okay.
No.
Okay. All right.
No. But you can. But that's because we're on this earth and I need money.
That slower. I think I could.
But I knew where you were gonna go, dude. I know your mind, right? So like, But the question is when you watch these videos, here's the example how one way of it's manipulated. So that naked attraction thing is real big right now. Show the woman's feet. Okay, go up to her knees. Vote. Would you date her? The last thing people get to see is their face, their eyes, the doorways to the soul. They don't really get to know the person.
Well, they might be a butterface though.
They could be. That's a possibility. But I've personally never dated any girl for looks. Not one. Like, never. I mean, there's a ton of good-looking people, dude. Just watch the movies. There's no normal people in movies. There's a ton of good-looking people. it's just your shell, right? But if you think about when you watch those videos of the dude's like, "Hey girl, duh, duh," and she's like, "Get away from me, you're a stalker," duh, duh, duh. And then he walks back to his Ferrari, and then she turns around, she's like, wait a minute. You've seen those. And he's like, no, you didn't want any of this. Now she's literally just going to lay down, right? Because the guy has a Ferrari. There's nothing sacred about that. That's
maybe,
the total opposite.
It could have been that absolute subverting of and like the anticipation, right? Like whatever the preconceived notion was, his ability to smash through that,
just smash the whole
in
thing
such a dramatic way, that in itself might be something deeper than just gold digger.
It's not. It is deeper than just gold digging. And I think people look at them and they go, "That's so shallow." Okay, on the surface it is shallow. Okay, but what's running the systems underneath, like what you're talking about, isn't. Because a man that has a Ferrari and has all this other stuff is a one-of-a-kind kind of man. He has personal authority. He's the emperor.
If it's a self-made man.
If it's a self-made man, he's the emperor.
Right.
In
but you
the
don't
tarot.
know the difference between that at the
sure. But right? the feminine, the empress, is attracted to the emperor, right? So the feminine will see an energy, which masculine energy is like free. It just wants to be free. It wants what it wants, and it wants to be free. That's it. Freedom. Wants what it wants to be free. Feminine energy wants to build beauty, wants to take that energy in and build a garden around it, make beauty, make the circle, right? So when you see a man talking to a woman and he's walking down the road and he's just stalking her and bugging her, the feminine energy in her is like, this is weakness, this is desperation, this is typical stuff. The empress in her is looking for the man that's free, that gets what he wants, that kind of thing.
What about the fool? Is the fool just like the
fool
friend
is
zone?
masculine energy? The fool is masculine energy. It's all kind of it's all works to the same thing, really. It's all a big story, but it's not always represented by money, right? Like,
right. That's just one of the convenient ways that we've all agreed that there's a standard way to transfer the energy that comes out of that guy's head, or the one that comes out of someone that puts their sexual energy out, or like everyone can take their energy and harvest it in different ways. Some people don't know how to do the instant conversion, so then they have to go and like make a physical product or go get hired somewhere and make their physical product. But at the end of the day, that's still their energy. They're putting their energy into the thing and then getting paid, and that payment is now like a physical rendering. It's like crystallized energy, right?
Yeah, dude. So you understand all this, but you're a Mason too. Like, you understand big things.
But well, hold on. You said that you started getting into this around like Fellowcraft, but that you weren't finding what you're looking for. Did you ever make it to master, or did you?
Yeah. And but it was because that I realized that there's only 3 degrees in every stage of the Western mysteries. There just is. Everything else is just an aspect of those larger 3 degrees, right? So
maybe isn't that semantics a little bit though?
So when it all of Western mysteries comes down to hermetics. That's all. If you just trace it back, it goes all the way back to hermetics. And hermetics is as above, so below. The mother, the moon, the father, the sun, the moon, the sun, and the stars, right? Theurgy, alchemy, the stars. When you're reborn, it represents being born again as starlight. This is the Christ story. This is Osiris. This is the whole story. So when you become a Blue Lodge Mason, right, for the first time, you become a Master Mason, you're going through magical rituals to represent.
Hey, don't get us killed here, Joe.
You're not going to get killed, but you are going through rituals to represent that story in a different way, right? Just like every other religion and every other thing represents those 3 stages in a different way. But it's all the same thing. The moon, the sun, and the stars, the feminine, the masculine, starlight, right? You could look at it any way you want to. You could look at it theurgy, alchemy, astrology.
Man, there's so many ways that I want to drive this right now, but I also want to leave a little cream for the next time. So I
Yeah,
want to
sure.
transition us into the next segment that I gave you a little hint about, but we're just going to run right into it. So,
Hey, conspiracy buffs, I double dare you to take some PCP, the Paranormal Conspiracy Probe. On your marks, get set, and go!
all right. So now you already said that you weren't keen on salvia. Have you ever done PCP before? Actual PCP?
I might have.
Would you be willing to do some tonight for this Q&A?
No.
Well, what if I tell you, if you look under your chair, that I've got a dime bag of PCP that I had smuggled into your room before we started?
What do I get? What am I? Because
Oh,
I'm going to
gosh,
take a
you
hit.
started.
Yeah.
So I want you to rate from 0 to 10 on how much you believe one of these theories. And
Okay.
I don't play word games with me, man. Like, just, you believe it or you
Gotcha.
don't. If you're on the fence,
Gotcha.
say 5, and we'll get into all this if you want to explain yourself.
Sure.
0 to 10, there's time travelers currently existing among us today.
3.
Fluoride was added to drinking water specifically to control or influence the human brain.
3.
Free energy technology exists, but suppressed by whatever, governments, business. Like, the only reason you can't run your car on water is because you'll get assassinated if you try.
6.
Portals to other dimensions or realms exist on Earth. And don't you start playing semantics here. I mean, like, you can walk into a freaking, spiraling vortex and then, like, pop
Physically
out
walk into a
somewhere
portal.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the physical body.
Yeah, you don't just, like, close your eyes and dream that you're going through a portal and then say that you did.
4.
Okay, that's still high. All right, these ones come in a pair because this is one of my new favorite. Anyways, dinosaurs existed. Like, the way, like, if you walked into the Museum of Natural History in New York and you go over to the dinosaur exhibit and you look up at the T-Rex or whatever, 0 to 10, how real is, and I don't mean like the things that it's made out of, but how close do they have it?
7.
Okay, so dinosaurs are real, more or less.
Mm.
Dragons real?
3.
3, were they were they ever real? Was there ever a flying, fire-breathing dragon?
7.
Okay. So you're just a 3 on they exist today.
That's
but
right.
You're a 7 if they've
the
ever
probability
existed.
of that there could have been dragons, based on what I know about science, at some point, yeah.
Fountain of Youth is a real physical location that has magical properties. This is a Florida boy question.
Oh, yeah. I've been.
Have you ever been to the actual Fountain of Youth?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's why
No.
right?
Are you talking about the one that's in Augustine?
Ponce de
St.
Leon,
Augustine?
man.
Oh, no, I haven't. No,
Okay.
I haven't been to any of those here actually. 2.
The Nephilim, the giants mentioned in the Bible that were, the offspring of humans mating with watchers, were real physical beings.
8.
Giants. Do giants exist today? Or did they exist within the last 200 years?
6.
Bigfoot.
You're gonna get me crushed. 3.
Oh, Joe, we're going right to that one when we're done here.
3.
Loch Ness Monster.
That one, I would do a 5. 5.
The Shroud of Turin having magical properties.
7.
Spear of Destiny having magical properties.
7.
Oh, Indigo Children.
Define the indigo child for me.
So Indigo Children, okay, yeah, because I guess everyone's got, but I remember in the early 2000s, Indigo Children were like children that were born with a natural knack for psychic abilities, and that you could, if you fostered it, if you identified it in your super special snowflake child, and you fostered that ability, that they could basically become 11 from Stranger Things and make people's heads explode. I might have tacked that last part on, but that's where I extrapolated.
You lost me at the last part. If you would have left it,
well, I mean,
so if you would have left it before,
if the military got a hold of them, that's where it ultimately would end up.
I don't want to get wordy with you, but if there's certain children that have things that should be developed, I'm going to go a 7. If the military's kidnapping them, so they're trying to get them to make people's heads explode, I'm going to go on a 2.
Bob Marley was assassinated.
Whew. What I can't talk. You told me not to run my mouth, right? So
Just give me a number. We can talk about it in a second after you explain yourself.
5.
5?
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's respectable. Earth is flat.
You're going to get me in trouble with my girl on this one. 3.
3. Okay. Earth is a sphere. Ish.
This
If it's
sphere-ish?
freaking pear shaped or peach shaped or apple shaped, it's
Okay.
fucking sphere.
8.
Okay. I'm trying to find one. Oh yeah, this is the last one for you. Aliens helped build the pyramids.
Hmm. The off-world, not from this world.
Oh my god, don't play games with me, Joe. Yeah, no, they came from outer space in a freaking UFO.
I have to go 5 on that. I know you don't want me to say 5 on that one,
That's
but
fine.
I'm going
That's
5
fine,
on that
dude.
one.
These are not for you to like try and meet my numbered expectations because I don't
I
know
gotcha.
any of this crap, man. Okay, so I already gave you a fair warning. We're going right
On
into
the Bigfoot one?
which you gave
Yeah.
a freaking 3. Even though you gave giants an 8 in the last 200 years. So where's the disconnect? Why do you think giants existed but Bigfoot has less than half of a likelihood of existing?
Maybe maybe not because of there is evidence of the bones of giants and red-haired giants and stuff like that. There's weird stuff on this earth that explains giantism, and I don't honestly believe that biblical writings are 100% true, but they're based off of mythologies that come from somewhere that are about something that's real, so I think that's why I believe in giants. I think it's a real. Plus, when I look at the human race and I see how we're all just different in certain ways, there's some weird stuff going on there as we became humans, right?
Okay. Well, what if I told you that Bigfoot sightings date back to well before the 12th century? Does that give it any extra credit?
No, not to me, because people have been saying they've seen Bigfoot for ever and ever, but there's no physical evidence. You can't you can't, besides the Patterson Gimlin film or another blurry film, right? You
What
can't
about Harry and the
say
Hendersons?
you can't.
I think they made that in
come on,
HD
man.
already.
Come on, man.
They might even have it in 4K now, Joe. What do you want? No. Okay,
Have you seen a bear? I grew up in the woods my whole life, right? Things look weird in the woods. I've looked at stuff in the woods. I'm like, what the hell is that? And sometimes it's a deer like facing a weird way, and it looks, because it's by a tree, it looks like a man. I've seen bears stand up that look like exactly like a Bigfoot. If you look at them a certain way,
Yeah, or
they look
our
like a
eyes are
Bigfoot.
very low resolution compared to what they could be.
And if that many damn Bigfoot have been around for that long, right, there has to be some evidence. There has to be. The probability of there not being physical evidence is low.
So what would you rank ghosts again?
Well, that's a different thing, right?
No.
So
what number? What's the number? What would you rank
ghost for sure? I'd probably put it at 9.
Okay, so explain the difference.
It's apples and oranges, though, right?
How
a Bigfoot is
though?
physical.
How so? Hey, okay, here's my version of it. All right, and I'm not stuck to this, but this is the one that has swayed me the most so far. If you were to imagine ghost existed, why don't we have a P.T. Barnum somewhere out of all the people on the planet that is found out how to consistently recreate an experience and just charge money for it, because people would spend
to see the
that was the whole plot of Beetlejuice, right?
Well,
it was to be able to turn that house into like an attraction where you could prove that ghosts existed. And I really believe in capitalism enough that someone would have done that.
Someone would have monetized it for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. You'd be able to go in OnlyFans of ghosts right now if they were real.
Well, that's what they're trying to do with all these ghost channels and stuff too, right?
They're trying, bro, but it's like the gold digging shows, and it's like how much gold
I've seen apparitions in my life. That's why I'm saying a 9. I've seen them with my own eyes, right?
Right, but why hasn't someone been able to capture that? Is it because they are like in a different interdimensional state?
I think that is a high probability, but I also think it has a lot to do with the observer. And I also think it has a lot to do with what people call ghosts. Like ghost people, like these are just dead people like going around. When you enter the astral realm, it doesn't matter. Like earlier we were talking about being stuck between worlds, right? But that's so elusive, and people don't stay stuck very long. So if you see an apparition, more than likely, in my opinion, it's someone that's either dead that's on their way to pass, not somebody that's staying around haunting it or whatever, more than likely, or it's someone that's sleeping and that's here already traveling out of body, and you happen to catch it, because you're
What's
at a certain state.
what's the possibility that? Oh, let me try and sell you this a little bit. I do have an agenda here, just to see if you can
Oh, I
change your
can
mind,
tell.
not because I even
Yeah.
believe this. Okay, so just so you know that,
Yeah.
devil's advocate style. But what if Bigfoot is some kind of a creature that has half of its feet in the nature realm and half of its foot in this, in between realm of like ethereal beings, and that's why no one
That would
has
be
shown Bigfoot proof, is because he can just jump in and out as he wants to, or her, or they, or them.
if it has a physical body and it's been around as long as you say it's been around, there should be more solid evidence than the Patterson-Gimlin film. Solid. And I wouldn't even call the Patterson-Gimlin film solid. Right?
Have you ever
So,
seen it motion smoothed, where they've like straightened it out so you can just see him moving without any of the camera hand movement?
what does it show?
Oh, keep
Does it show
talking.
the boobies? Is that what you're
I'll look
talking
it
about?
up. Yeah, keep talking about why you don't believe the Patterson Gimlin footage first.
Well, I didn't say I don't believe it. I said 3. Remember, 3 means there's a possibility.
You
But
3% believe it, then
my 3% believe it. That's a 30% belief that it's possible. Like, but I'm not convinced personally. Like you don't have me convinced personally. But
the only
I
reason
am.
I'm showing you this is because I've shown it to some people and it made them more convinced, and I've shown some people and it made them less convinced.
Let's
So
see this
here's the
thing.
Patterson Gimlin footage. And what I'm about to do is I'm going to show this, but what they've done is they've taken every frame of the entire animation and they've basically like reconstructed the scene from every place the camera just like
Well,
randomly points at. So when you
it
see it
already has a
play,
blur around it already.
right, because it starts out and it's cropped from the top. So what they've done is they've like recreated the whole background and then they play the video as it would move. So you'll see it. So here we go.
Okay.
This is the stabilized Patterson Gimlin film. Do you believe it more or less or the same after seeing
The same.
it
I'm not
stabilized?
convinced.
You're
I'm not
so you're still at
convinced.
a 3.
Mm-mm. No, because stuff, dude, with that's not a software glitch. Is that what you're saying? You're saying that's not a software glitch. That's fear that you're seeing
I
was
wouldn't say
really
anything.
around
I'm
him.
just trying to get your reaction to
I
the
mean,
Patterson Gimlin stabilized footage.
I think UFOs and Bigfoot go hand in hand. Right?
Okay.
I think a lot of people say it's an unidentified animal, unidentified hairy being in the woods, right? How many of those people are telling the truth? They even saw something. How many of those people did see something? How many? You got to start narrowing it down, right? And once you start shrinking the pie down and you get to you can't just throw out logic, even though talking about out of body stuff and magic is like crazy, but that's,
No, honestly, man, this is
know,
why I like talking with you, because you dance between those two lines similar
yeah,
to
you
what
can't.
think
I try
do.
to stay between logic and like even this whole magic and out of body stuff. It doesn't mean that I'm right. These are all my theories, okay? Like, but the Bigfoot thing is almost like the dog man thing. There are people. So I'm not saying that there's not a big crazy dog somewhere that's morphed and but there's 5 of them attacking a family and you had a gunfight with them and they keep coming back and they're like, come on, man. Like, If this stuff is happening and these are physical beings, there should be physical
Well, again,
evidence.
if they're like trans-dimensional beings, the theory is that when you shoot at them, they can like jump into the other realm as the bullet passes, and then jump back in the physical realm. So they just
Okay,
go right through them.
so this is where I'll follow you this with a little bit. There's only one guy that I trust when it comes to ufology, Tim Doyle, because he just straight up tells the truth. Everything is, he'll let you know it's military. I don't know.
Is he a
But the
sponsor
one-
of Fringe FM? Is that where it's going?
No, he doesn't pay us anything, dude. I just personally believe in this guy.
Okay.
Right? But he did capture something on film once in the mountains that seemed to come in and out of dimensions, in the air. Now, it was trippy looking because it was just like almost like a goldish looking blob that was flying, and it just kind of disappeared and came back out and disappeared again. It definitely looked like it was going in and out of something, almost as if you put your finger in the water and the fish are like, oh, what the hell is that? And they pull it out. Right. When I look at a squid in the water and I can see what the hell it can do in its dimension, then I have to think that there can definitely be something outside of our dimension, and we're the fish, but at the same time, like the way the whole Bigfoot thing is, they should have some kind of physical evidence other than Patterson Gimlin, something, a better picture, a better video, not just noises or knocks or,
Big
and I've
bucket
had
of poop.
or a big bucket of poop. I wish I could tell this story. These people are personal friends of mine, but I went to this place in Arkansas where they literally had rocks floating. Like these rocks were literally floating, and it was real. It
Like
was
levitation
phenomenal.
you're talking about.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. I took my compass up there. We walked to this hole. My compass is spinning 9 different directions. It's a crystal mine.
Okay, PT Barnum question. How come someone's not doing that and charging $20 fee to see
They
it
do.
happen in real life?
They do. They do have people come charge to live there and mine crystals. They take them out to that place to show it to them. They show them, they say, hey, bring your compass. Do you feel different? It's
You have
weird.
to do it in a specific geographic location. Like
Yeah,
are
it's
they
in
the ones
this.
doing it,
yeah,
or is it
like-
the location that does it?
It's the location for sure. It's in this location. Now, what got added on to that location on a TV show was these backlights, strange lights that are normal sky phenomena, if you ask me, that just kind of light up the sky a certain way. Then Bigfoot gets involved. How does Bigfoot always get involved?
We got to
on
be
top
talking
of-
about Skinwalker Ranch right now.
No, it's not Skinwalker, but I'll tell you the story. It's real fast. So we're walking through the woods, and I'm following this guy, and I'm just amazed that the crystals are floating, levitating, dude. There could be a scientific explanation for it, but it's amazing, and they got it on film. I was hoping I'd get to see it, but for sure, my compass started going crazy.
Were you
when I
allowed
got
to
up
like
to
put
this
your
place.
hand under it and like do all
Yeah.
the David Copperfield?
Well, it wasn't floating when I got there, right? But I personally could feel it was like some kind of weird
Sounds awful
energetic.
convenient.
It does, right? But I felt different when I was there, like different.
Like 200 pound or $200
Like I was
later.
200 pounds, maybe not 200, but lighter.
No, say
right?
$200 later.
Yeah, right. I didn't pay them anything.
Okay.
But my compass was spinning all over the place. I'd never seen it do that before. It was just going like back and forth. And this can be explained too. There's some kind of phenomenon that does that. But I think that phenomenon can also, if the energy's focused enough, can float rocks. I really think it does it. Just like a magnet can move stuff, but Bigfoots and UFOs got added onto this thing. So we're walking around in these trails. I'm looking for anything paranormal. Now, personally, they've asked me to like bless the property or whatever, because I'm into magic at the time. But I told them, I said, look, if I go around and I do this prayer that I do, this is based on my consciousness and what I believe. And when I do it, it's just going to show me the truth, right? Because that's what I ask for, in magic, to show me the truth. And it's funny because later that night we're walking, and you know how you hear these stories of Bigfoots throwing boulders at you, right?
Donkey Kong.
Well, yeah, like Donkey Kong. They're just throwing rocks, and so we're walking in the woods, And this guy's walking in front of me, and we're going down this ravine. It's starting to get dark, but I can see good at night. I told you I grew up in the woods. And it looks like he purposefully broke his stride and kicked this branch. And this branch was laid. So the ravine's running like this. The branch is laid across it. Okay. At the end of the branch, at the top, is propped up a rock. Okay. So when he trips this thing, a big boulder comes rolling down the hill, just like just, and he turns around and says, what was that? And I said, listen, man, your foot hit that stick, and that stick was holding that rock up there. Now, at first in my mind, I thought it was just a coincidence. And I started thinking about it. I was like, that's a big ass boulder. There's no way that it just kind of landed there. And this dude's been walking with this stride the whole time. And then he hits this thing, and he just purposely kind of takes a half step to make sure that he kicks it, And it was dark enough to where maybe some people wouldn't have saw it, but I saw it, And this is an example to me.
Are you saying he was finessing you?
I think he was finessing me, but I don't want to totally accuse him of it, because maybe he tripped over the stick. But the point is that's what I witnessed was someone's consciousness because of a boulder rolling down the hill, wanting either himself or me or both to believe that it had something to do with Bigfoot. And they already have an amazing, one of the biggest crystal mines there, one of the biggest phenomena I've ever seen when it comes to levitating rocks is pretty cool. Why add the Bigfoot and the UFOs? Why? Everybody adds Bigfoot on top of everything. Like there's probably a Bigfoot involved. Why?
Maybe the energy bill for the levitating rocks was just getting too high, and they needed a new grift.
Until I see, look, I know magic works because I've experienced it. I've been out of body because I've experienced it. I would believe the Bigfoot thing more if there was just any kind of more physical evidence than what we have,
I'll take it at that, man, because honestly, I find Bigfoot more interesting regardless if it's real or not. If it was real, I mean, it's obviously infinitely more interesting all of a sudden, but even if it's completely fake, I think just the fascination with how long the archetype has persisted across different cultures, and it's something that you could almost mention to anyone and they're like, oh yeah, I've heard of something like that. And Bigfoot also is almost like the gateway drug to conspiracies in a lot of ways. It's like,
yeah, and I murder my radio show all the time. This is why I don't have a massive audience, because I'm not gonna just start getting into all this stuff.
You're not gonna go Bigfoot hunting?
Real. Yeah, I will look. Dude, I remember one year I said Bigfoot's bullshit, and I literally lost like 3,000-4,000 downloads.
No, we don't believe here at Paranoid American. We do not believe that Bigfoot's bullshit. We believe in Bigfoot. We honor Bigfoot.
Keep them downloads coming. Yeah.
No, but I mean, honestly, I think that regardless, that just like flat Earth, which we're gonna leave for next time. Like, don't worry, but I want to get you in a little bit more trouble with your girlfriend on this. But just like flat Earth,
dude, we almost broke up over it once. She gets bad about it, bro.
So I would give it like a 0. I would give it a 0.5. It would be the same chance of you going to hell for reading a tarot deck is that the Earth is flat. But that doesn't mean that I find it any less of an interesting theory, even philosophically. I don't even think that you're necessarily like an idiot or a bumpkin or ignorant.
No, there's some,
believe it or not. It comes almost down to faith. It's like, how much faith do you have in modern science and modern education, which obviously lies at every turn that they can?
Or just observe nature, man. Just observe nature. Everything in nature.
Holograms projected.
It could be, Israel Regardi says this is like a holographic universe. But look, everything in nature, if you let it do its thing, like eventually we'll get into some kind of field and form a ball. It'll form a circle of some kind.
Society.
It does that. So you're going to tell me that all these planets and all this stuff that are outside of us, whether the space is real or not,
specifically,
or are forming balls. When we make babies, it forms a ball. Like, and things in water, they always have this Fibonacci spiral, and everything forms a ball in this 3D world, but not this place. It's Legoland here. That's what you're telling me. Like I don't buy it, and
Are
I
you
don't
talking
care
to your
what.
girlfriend right now?
Kind of.
Are you
I don't.
seeing her here?
Yeah, because I'm not brave enough to do it when we're by ourselves. You
You
know,
know what? Let's do that next time, bro. Let's just
we
have
should
like a
get her on
therapy
because she's
session.
smarter than I am with the math and all this other stuff too. You know,
Yeah, that
so
honestly, that's where I give up because it's if I'm gonna have to revisit 7th or 8th grade math class just for you to explain it to me, I'm out, bro. Like
yeah,
you've lost
yeah,
me.
no, like there, I just give up because it's easier. Like, she's smarter than me. She's just smarter than me. But there's a thing that's the inside of me, bro. That's like I don't know. You know when you're up against a better brain than you, right? You just know.
Well, and
And
if you have to live with that better brain, it changes the dynamic a little bit too.
yeah, and I'm like, dude, okay, but we're going off intuition here. I'm saying that this place is round. You know, like I was hoping you get to the moon landing one because people will hate
We're
me on that one.
we're gonna get to that. Honestly, dude, I want to talk to you again sooner than it's been here. So
Yeah, yeah.
let's plan for the next one. Let Go ahead and give another shout out to where people can find you, where they can. You've got a freaking radio show that broadcasts on live air,
Yeah.
on the real radio. So shout that out too, man. We're
Well, I'm
Florida boys.
probably one of the only few people on the world in the world that does a radio styled. I love radio so much. My podcast is radio styled. So I just created the Fringe FM because I liked playing Fallout and listening to the radio, the radio stations and the game Fallout, and I love the intimacy and the real reality, just that real time radio stuff. People call in, whatever. Anyways, Fringe.fm is what I'm trying to build in this radio world. I've been doing a podcast called Lighting the Void for a long time, but there's a part of me that just wants to turn it all to Fringe FM and just be done with it. But I've been void walking so long, I can't let that go either. I'm always in two worlds, man.
You're gonna have to jump, man. You have to pick one.
You got to pick. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you don't have to. I mean, I feel like I'm always in like 5 different worlds, and I'm
Bro,
not
how
good
many?
at picking either.
There's everybody I know is doing like 4 or 5 podcasts right now, and I'm wondering, oh, which thing should I do? And then I look at like Juan or you guys, or and everybody's like, oh, I do this other show and this other thing. It's like, okay, what am I stressing about here?
Yeah, reminder about Paranoid Programming, Occult Book Club, Occult Disney. We got Paranoid Pranking now, the Paranoid American Podcast.
Yeah. Anyways, I talk a lot, and I'm sorry, dude. I go on rants, so your audience will have to forgive me.
This is why you're here, man, and hopefully, people find you as alluring as I do, man. You've got the radio voice, you've got the whole jam. We didn't even get to go into how freaking magical you are. So I want to definitely have you back on. I want to
come
do
on the
some
radio
sigil magic.
tonight.
Can we do
Come on the
sigil
radio
magic
tonight.
at another one?
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
All right, let's. So next time you're gonna come on, we're gonna do flat Earth, we're gonna do moon landing, and we're gonna do sigil magic. Does that sound like a plan?
Yep. Sure enough.
All right, man. You got any other plugs to throw out there?
No, just help. We need
help?
we need we need your help. Dude, we need programmers, we need people that if you can imagine any job at a radio station that you would volunteer for and be like, I might get paid later once this thing is built and you want to be a part of it, come help us. Other than that, that's it. Because I don't really.
It's a strong sales pitch. It's an incredibly strong sales
Appreciate
pitch.
it.
If you're looking to work for free, I know. I hope you work on that.
Contingency, apparently. Like my producer that does my podcast is the same thing. Like think
about how this
I'm
is
like,
gonna look on your resume, kid.
Yeah. I'm like, well, once the show's big, dude, we'll renegotiate. And he's like,
you got to be fancier. You got to call back end. Oh, we'll give you 8 points back end. You got to what do they call it? Get Gallop, I think, is when you just.
I'm from Arkansas, man. I can't talk like that.
Okay. Well, you show me sigil magic next time, and maybe we'll make a sigil that we'll test it out, bro. We'll test out some kind of a sigil, and maybe if anyone picks up on it and they see the whatever our version of the red ball is, right?
Well, we need to come up with an experiment that has a variable.
We'll do that. So for the next one, we'll come up with the experiment, and maybe in a future one, we'll perform the experiment.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Well, when I rewatch this, I'm going to take notes and I'm going to hold you to all these, dude. We're going to have a full checklist and everything.
Just watch Grant Morrison's. You should leave that link in your note, that Grant Morrison thing where he's doing the presentation, and he
Yeah, it's called
explains the whole
Talking
thing.
with Gods, I believe.
Yeah, that one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Talking with God. Yeah, I was just talking about this with someone today. That Grant Morrison and Alan Moore are like the two most magical dudes in the world of
Yeah.
comics.
I mean, I know we're ending the show, but this guy literally told you I put all this stuff in my comic book, and they started happening in my life. Even the girlfriends that he wanted.
The comic, a comic book as a sigil, and I also
Yep.
believe, shout out Cult Disney Podcast, go check it out, Cult Disney.com. But I also believe that animations are sigils, because what is it but a person sitting down at a desk and drawing the same damn thing like hundreds
Right.
and hundreds of times, where it's only changing slightly, and then that thing goes back out into the world and influences people. It's a damn sigil. They're like, you can't convince me that it's not. Now, is it real? I don't know, but it's a sigil. You know what I mean?
Right.
All right, brother. Well, we're gonna leave a whole bunch of dude. We've got like the next one's gonna be a chore. We've almost got like 3 episodes planned out for the next one, man. So I'm gonna maybe it'll be a new series, bro. Well, you're looking for the new variants, so let's workshop some names where we just do sigil magic.
Right on.
All right,
we'll
brother.
Figure something out.
So everyone, this is a brand new comic that should be out by the time you're watching this. FrazzledDrip.com. Here's the commercial.
Frazzle Drip Funhouse. Enter, if you dare, the world of an animatronic bear whose metallic heart beats with a thirst for justice, a hunger for revenge. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, connoisseurs of the macabre and seekers of the scandalous. Your voracious appetites for chilling narratives are about to be satiated by the heart-stopping, pulse-pounding creation of Paranoid American and Winged Sun Comics. Abandoned in the dusty corners of amusement, now awoken in the murk of wickedness perpetrated by an evil elite. And this is not your childhood fairy tale, but a macabre dance of vindication, soaked in crimson, a symphony of screams echoing in the dimly lit chambers of malevolence. Be prepared for an onslaught of ghastly gore and titillating terror. A wicked waltz through twisted hallways and blood-stained basements where only the brave dare to tread. Quake at the bear's unyielding pursuit, cackle at the sharp and sardonic one-liners, shudder at the graphic, gratuitous scenes that harken back to the glory days of B-horror flicks. Frazzle Drip Funhouse is your ticket to a thrill ride of terror. A carnival of carnage where the laughs are as loud as the screams. Uncover the truth beneath the rust and the blood, and remember, nothing is as it seems. Are you ready to step into the Frazzle Drip Funhouse, where the animatronic eyes are always watching, and vengeance is a game that everyone can play? Get your backer exclusive cover on Indiegogo. For more information, visit paranoidamerican.com.